And that's because it's been instilled in us from years and years and years, from the name that you're given at birth to the shoes to the propaganda, from the shoes you wear to the clothes you wear it's been instilled in us, from the suit you wear to work. You don't feel like you're a person unless you're wearing a suit and walking into a job at a building, sitting at a desk and pointing fingers and shit. And instead of actually manifesting what people can see as a future for life and living itself, and we're not able to live because we're caught in the propaganda, and we're taught white supremacy. So what we're doing is we're walking around lynching one another because of the simple fact that we're stuck in a place where there's never going to you cannot stop something, first of all, that, like the earth, has a core. Until you find that core, you're not going to be able to stop what is just on the surface of what we're dealing with here. Like people standing up, everybody's in here for their own purposes. Some people just want to be seen. Some people just want to be seen. Some people want to stand in front of a camera and be seen. People who don't want to stand in front of a camera, be seen and be heard and be felt. And actually
take some risk
and take some risk and some initiative to actually be heard, to actually reach that person that can sit in their house and say, I'm not going to do it, and because I don't this hasn't worked since the beginning of the fucking time. What all we doing is we random raving. It's starting to become very churchy. It's starting to become hey, we have a problem, let's go pray about it. And then after we come up out of there, we're going to do the same shit all over again. And that's going to be it's the makeup. It's a constant revolving door. And we was talking about that early morning. We was talking about...
Hello.
Hi.
My name's Troy Massey, and I'm just an advocate for a sovereign economic worker state. Simple as that.
What is that? Tell
A
me
sovereign
more.
economic work state where people personally control their means of production and their work and their workplaces. They learn to manage it themselves in a democratic fashion without a hierarchical structure being set on top. So when you talk economics right up front, people are like, oh shit. So this stuff, in my mind, is a cultural aspect of what's really going on. I'm seeing people being discriminated against. I'm seeing people of African descent and cultural descent and Haitian and Norwegian and all these different cultures being affected and beaten down and downtrodden. As a quote-unquote white person, which I reject, I'm European, I'm Native American, those are my ethnicities. I don't identify as a color. Book is in black and white. To me that's colors. So your glasses are black and white. That's just colors, that's plastic, To me, human beings are human beings. We have ethnicities, which includes culture, which includes your history, which includes your family. And we'll talk about the unit of production. Well, the family is the biggest unit of production because it actually instills the virtues and values that we actually indoctrinate our children with, the belief systems, the whole cultural apparatus. And then we go out into the world and try and train, come back, and train and come back. And so we live in houses. So private property is a big issue. But nobody wants to talk about private property because it's never had a fair trial in any country. Not really, not at all. I mean, certain places when they uprise and say, no, it's no more to the state. The state is not sovereign. The state has no legitimacy. We have legitimacy because we are the people, of the people, by the people, for the people, as Lincoln died for, So things like that, those are what really concern me. Unfortunately, I haven't learned to actually tie the thread to put them all together. I have a lot of methods, I have a lot of concepts, a lot of ideas, I have a lot of lists, I have a lot of information, a lot of data. I need to sit and organize them and put them together and field them with other people and get experiences and say who, what, when, where, why, which. Who, what, when, where, why, which. Who, what, when, where, which. And then you get a fact. And you can confirm that fact and you can source it. You can say this is real, this is not, this is a metaphor. The metaphor makes sense, but in reality, who, what, when, where, why, which. Who did what with what resources from when until when to create what, for what reasons and why, or for what reasons to create what for who else in exchange. There you go. You have economic coordination. There you go. Sit down, figure that out, start actually coordinating that with people. But then people come to a realization that, maybe I don't honestly like you, I don't understand you all the time, but I'm not open enough I'm not of sound enough mind or in a place where I feel like I can actually be vulnerable with you or able to talk to you about certain problems that I have and realize that, you know what, we share these common threads and understanding. You may not understand it, but I can't explain it to you in terms of my condition or my situation or my experience, and hopefully you can understand these things. Coming together and making peace in that fashion and actually talking to people as human beings on a relational level, that's what cuts the cord for the threat and the conflict. In my mind, that is possible every day through the rhetoric, which was actually a form and a discipline and a science among the Greeks that we don't really practice anymore because we're too caught up in phraseology like solidarity and against and justice and dignity and this and that. I'm like, without defining the terms and actually inputting them back into the questions or statements that we have, so we can have a better understanding of what they really mean and have more information, uncover those questions and say point A, point B, point C, point D. There is. That's what this is. Okay, we know what it is now. So I can identify it there, I can identify it there, and there, in those specific situations. So I won't be fooled when someone else tells me something else and I can call bullshit. I mean, I look at language as the core of culture. And if you look at it this way, there's the environmental, which is a structure, you know, all this stuff, material objectivism or historical materialism, which is what Karl Marx says we need to actually understand and have a real synthesis of if we were to fully understand reality and how we got here and what we should do with it. Then you have the social, which is communication, right? Our ideology, our belief systems, our values. Then you have the cultural, which is in the middle of it all. And those are the artifacts, our expressions, what we do, what we create, you know, that's actually the product of what we do. Then you have economics, which is the way we coordinate it all. Like I was saying, who does what with what resources from when until where, you know. Coordination of resources, and calculation of the resources. A lot of people want to impute their ideology and put them on top of economics through political economy. You know, and that's a big problem. That's a big problem because that's supposed to be separate. Your ideology is supposed to be separate from what you do about it. You know? And that's my opinion.